Hi, I'm Shekina Tuahene, Commercial Editor and Deputy Editor of Mortgage Solutions. Welcome to this video podcast with Family Building Society, where we'll be talking about the buy-to-let sector. I'm joined by Neil Cadwallader and Stuart Heavens, both BDMs at Family Building Society. Thank you both for being here. Firstly, let's look at the current state of the buy-to-let market. Falling interest rates do seem to be having a generally positive impact across the entire market, but recent figures from UK Finance showed a drop in outstanding buy-to-let mortgages, the first decline recorded since the product type was introduced in 1996. So Neil, I'll start with you and thank you for being here. In your view, how is the buy-to-let market looking right now?
Yeah, I think the buy-to-let market has actually gone through in the last 3-4 years. Has gone through quite some tumultuous changes to do with taxation, regulation, also kind of housing crisis has put further pressure on the rental sector. But kind of in general terms, I think that the buy-to-let market is in a lot better health than is generally perceived. There are far less properties available for rent. The demand is by far generally outstripping supply, depending on geographical area, even more so in certain areas. Generally, rental yields are up because the price of rent is obviously increasing. To summarize it initially, the buy-to-let market is alive and kicking. And that's where kind of areas like in the sector where Family Building Society can help brokers to maximize their opportunities.
And Stuart, so Neil was quite positive in his answer. And what would you say are the main drivers behind this, thinking of some of the things that he did mention?
For me, I think one of the biggest drivers of the buy-to-let market currently is the remortgage side of things. From a mortgage perspective, obviously purchase transactions are down and have been for the last year or so. In particular, going back to the mini fiscal event or mini budget of a couple of years ago now, which saw interest rates increase and probably still gives shivers to a lot of landlords and brokers alike. Combine that with the tax changes just immediately before that, and obviously landlords are now having to think a little bit harder about whether to complete a purchase or to proceed with a purchase or to enter into the market altogether. But the remortgage market is strong. There are landlords out there who have mortgages on buy-to-lets. Interest rates have gone up, and now is the most important time for them in particular to find a mortgage advisor in order to help them through the remortgage process. You've got a lot more choice out there now within a high rate environment of the high fee, low rate products versus the more normal products with the lower fees and the more normal rates. And so a landlord could be misled by the market leading rates and not think of the overall cost, which is where the value of a mortgage broker will come into play.
So Neil, you did mention a little bit about this, but just going back to you with the same question, what are the main drivers behind how the market is doing at the moment?
Okay, so it's quite fortuitous that Zoopla have just come out with some kind of data in the last 24 hours actually around the buy-to-let market. And there's some surprising statistics in there, as in kind of like for every rental property in the areas where they looked across the UK, for every area, there's 21 renters looking to live in that property. And obviously that kind of, even though the actual properties on the rental market have declined by roughly around kind of 24% or so since kind of the COVID kind of years as such, the actual increase of demand is filling that hole. And in kind of just looking again some of the stats, average rent was kind of anything up to increasing by only 10% up to last year. And this year it's up to about 5.4%, which again yields are slightly less, but because of the demand and the lack of property, portfolio landlords and all landlords are actually seeing benefit in the yields, and as you will kind of everyone know that that kind of property prices are actually stagnating somewhat, especially in the last kind of 6 to 12 months. So that means that the actual property values are more enticing, whereas during COVID, nobody actually paid the asking price. Everybody going above the asking price. Now it's actually they're paying the asking price, and a lot of my brokers are saying that kind of cheeky bids are being accepted again and that type of stuff. And then you can see the portfolio landlords can see value in the purchase market because they know they can get the yields and get the properties rented out. So from a positive point of view, there's lots to talk about in the buy-to-let market at the moment.
Thank you. And Stuart, just sort of revisiting what Neil said at the top of the video where he said the buy-to-let market is alive and kicking. So what do you think has helped the sector weather through any recent challenges, particularly the high interest rates?
Tailing to what Neil said just then, in terms of the lack of supply versus the demand, obviously in a supply and demand market, and the private rental sector is a vitally important part of the UK housing market. When you've got the demand outstripping the supply, it will be a landlord's market within reason. If you've got 21 people looking to buy a property, looking to rent a property, you will get the going rate for it, and that's why rents have increased by roughly 5.5% over the last 12 months.
Thank you very much. And thank you both for your responses in this part of the discussion. That's all we have time for this moment, but please be sure to join us for the following 2 videos where the conversation will continue. Goodbye.